My name is Comfort Asokoro Ogaji from the Women in Mining Africa. And today, WiM-Africa is bringing you a key message regarding the ongoing 16 days of activism against gender-based violence in the mining workspaces. This activism is already taking place globally, and all our chapters, our networks, our mining communities are keying into this. And I want to appreciate all of us for the efforts, for the advocacies, for the dramas. I saw some drama this morning communicating the message that we are part of the Unite campaign that is ongoing. And this is to appreciate us all for joining the voices that are calling for the elimination of gender-based violence everywhere, online, offline, and across all mining environment, across offices, government offices, private sector offices, the artisanal and small-scale mining spaces, the senior mining spaces, mining pits, mining camps, everywhere that there is mining. We are advocating whether there is a direct mining, whether it is downstream, upstream, or midstream. We are advocating that there should be zero tolerance to gender-based violence. So to participate, we are already having all over Africa this personalized DP where everyone is joining their voices and saying no to gender-based violence in mining spaces. It is very predominant, but with this campaign, we believe that there would be some changes. There will be some reduction and mitigation of gender-based violence together. So I thank you all of us who have floored our spaces, digital spaces, with this advocacy, who are making speeches and sending out your powerful messages. Thank you for standing united on this and standing for a violence-free mining zone. So safety is important, and most especially more important in the mining spaces in Africa. So we want to use this opportunity to reach out to organizations, key organizations, that should be observing some certain protocols within the organization to ensure a violence-free environment, even underground, underground mines. Yes, underground mines and in processing plants, everywhere that activity takes place that is related to the mining industry in Africa. We want a complete zero tolerance to all forms of abuses against women that are in the mining space. We all know that the industry is male dominated, and in many mining sites across globally, I would say, women are still treated as symbols rather than as professionals. We have some nicknames that the few women you find on mining sites are called, such as camp women, yeah, or site ladies, or you say, oh, you are a spare tire. Yes, come along, you're a spare tire. Or you are like a flower for the men, or you are for decoration, all kinds of ornamental phrases that are used for women on the mine site. This simply reduce women to sexualized labels, and we are saying no to that today. We want our women across the mining fields to be respected as workers, as metallurgists, as engineers, as geologists, as decision makers on the field, as innovators that they are, yeah, and in every form that they are serving on site. Even if they are indeed serving refreshment, we want respect to follow that service. It could be that they are women drivers, yeah, truck drivers on the mine site who are women. We want utmost respect for our women in the field. And then let's come to the digital platforms. Similar languages, the other day I was reading I was watching a YouTube video of a lady, and some men were making some castigating statements about her being in the mining space as a woman. So I wouldn't want to repeat that because we do not endorse it, but it happens. So we're saying no to that. On digital platforms, we do not want to have languages or comments or chats or anything that demeans or reduces the quality or sexualizes the women that are in these spaces. What about WhatsApp groups? Yes. On WhatsApp groups, women are objectified. Sometimes they are mocked or sexualized. And this is reinforcing the idea that they exist for male comfort rather than for technical contribution, the technical prowess that they bring to the table in such spaces. So, a culture where harassment is normalized, where consent is ignored, where women are unsafe to speak up, is a culture we are saying no to. And we do not want it to just be within the 16 days, but we want it to be a culture for all around the year as an organization. We want violence both offline and online, or any form of subtle disrespect for women to become a zero tolerance case. So we are challenging and dismantling these derogatory labels. It's critical that we all join hands to do that because words are powerful. Words can foster discouragement. Words can dampen the spirit of a person, male or female, and it is the foundation of workplace culture. Words, language can devalue a woman, and we want systems to be set in place to make sure that does not occur in any form or at any level, even in mining communities. So I would like to address institutional accountability when it comes to gender-based violence, because it is not only physical. As I mentioned earlier, it begins with language, then it follows with attitude, sometimes jokes that is being made, and then it graduates into full harassment, which could be digital or physical. And then it's normalized. It becomes a normalized abuse. When women are called flowers or ornaments or side girls, side ladies or camp ladies, it's completely unacceptable. So we want to call on every mining company today, every cooperative of in the solid mineral sector, every mineral processing firm, every ASM, artisanal and small scale mining leaders, management, regulatory institutions in government, in offices, private and public. We are calling on everyone to commit within these 16 days to develop relevant policies. Zero tolerance policy for violence against women and girls. This is a step forward in every organization that really wants to combat gender-based violence. Not as a document. We are not saying we should develop a document and put it on the shelf and tick a checklist that it is done. No, or just one of the human resources required stack of policies. That's not what we are saying. But we want it to be practiced. We want it to be enforced. We want it to become a standard, a policy that has a clearly defined statement about harassment, what harassment means, whether it's verbal, whether it's digital, as the focus is this year, whether it is sexual in nature or it's even physical in nature. A policy that establishes confidential reporting channel is necessary for every cooperative. Where we have cooperative that has both men and women or ASM clusters, There was a cluster in my country, Nigeria, Niger State. There were more than 200 men and women. It was an ASM cluster in that particular location. You could see the mix. So we're calling on even the leaders at that local level to protect, to mandate a disciplinary action for perpetrators of gender-based violence in that space as well. And we have to also, in those spaces, at every level, protect the whistleblowers and survivors from retaliation. I was in a meeting in a country in Africa, and one of the men spoke out and said, well, we were asking that, do you have a reporting format in this organization where women can report whether there's gender-based violence? No, the first question was, do you ever have a case of gender-based violence in this organization? And the answer was, no such thing happens here. And then the man, top leader there, he smiled and said, well, they can say nothing like that happens, but I know it happens. And when it happens, men shield each other. Yeah, you cannot report that to a man, his words. You cannot report that to a man and a man takes action. No, he would rather protect his fellow man and maybe talk silently about it and then kill the matter. That was the feedback that we got in the field, which means if you are a whistleblower, you could become the victim, even at a managerial level. The whole organization could turn on you. And we are saying we should have workable policies, practice policies that protects the whistleblower and anyone who is a survivor of from retaliation, from it could be this could come from anywhere, right? And there should be mandating of disciplinary action for those perpetrators. And we want all policies to also be reviewed to integrate the digital safety protocols. The digital safety protocols for chat groups, corporate chat groups, official, unofficial chat groups, which includes WhatsApp platforms or equipment control rooms. There should be digital safety protocols integrated into these policies. And the policy should ensure women have equal access to PPEs, to job roles. These are subtle violence taking place when, because you're a woman, you are not able to take on this role just because of your gender, not because you are not competent. Yeah, you may be the most competent in the space or in the room, but because of your gender, you are denied that role. We want policies that ensures that women have equal access and also grievance systems that works. Anonymity depends on the environment. What works must reflect. And we also want the stakeholders generally that I have listed earlier to train men and boys on positive masculinity and respect for the workplaces. If the mining sector can focus on these, most especially within Africa, we would have reduced cases and probably complete mitigation of this menace. So during the 16 days, which is already wrapping up, we want WiM-Africa, we want to encourage organizations, companies to issue an official memo declaring a zero tolerance to GBV. I will repeat that. We want organizations at all levels, small scale, large scale, very senior scale, all the scales, all the sectors, the public, the private, the NGO world, everywhere. We want you to issue an official internal memo declaring zero tolerance to gender-based violence. And where possible, we want you to find a space within the organization and display an anti-harassment poster on the mine sites, on the notice boards. Yes, everywhere I go since the 16 days, I've always asked, where is it? Where is it? Don't you know what is going on? So we're calling that should be done during this period. And also, we want you to audit and find examples, audit the WhatsApp groups to find examples of violence, digital violence in the digital GBV in the digital spaces that we have mentioned earlier, and your radio rooms and everywhere else that you think could be highly prone to this. So you can use that as case study to correct and to establish the policy within the organization. We want to also organizations, most especially those at the pits, to sponsor community awareness sessions around mining zones so that the awareness goes forward. You can have a message on the WhatsApp group and forward and ask the admin to forward it repeatedly, saying zero tolerance to GBV, zero tolerance for GBV. I mean, making the same message go around. You'll be shocked how fast it goes around, and then we will be making progress for that. And if there could be some form of funding to fund digital safety and reporting mechanism for women in the mining space, that will be a big achievement, and that actions are taken after such reports are filed. So the next in the next few days, we would be wrapping up the 16-day activism on GBV, and but we don't want it to just stop there. We want it to become a catalyst for long-term workplace reform. We want it to be the beginning of improving the systems that are existing in organizations, starting from your organization and of course starting from Women in Mining Africa as well. So let's have a spaces where we women don't shrink because you're a woman. You now shrink in the organization. You don't speak out because you're a woman. We want the men to take it up as a policy issue and ensure that that is mitigated against. So thank you very much. We want our minerals to shine brighter on our women first, right? So that Africa's wealth will grow while its women are also blossoming, in peace, in prosperity, not in violence, not bleeding internally, or not able to express themselves in the workspaces. We cannot extract gold and then crushing the dignity of the women that are doing the work at the mines in every form that they are, whether in the boardroom or at the pits. So we need to stop the abuse and stop concealing the abuse and celebrate when the abuses have been eradicated, because safety is very key. And to Women in Mining Africa, all of our networks and our chapters, we want you also for this period, we have more days to go. We want you to, even after the 16 days activism, to continuously implement the project MSAFE. Yeah, the project MSAFE has to do with safety at the mine spaces for women. So this is part of our 7-point program agenda, and we want us to embrace it and make sure the implementation never stops until it is completely eradicated. Thank you very much for listening and stay blessed.